Alright, so I'm back. I'm gonna start talking about my first experience, my first uh, year on board, let's say, my first contract. So everything started in 2015 in September when I first applied for the ship, let's say. So it started with me sending an email to Miami where I put my CV and everything, and I start working as a housekeeping supervisor for for the Celebrity. Sorry, it's part of the Royal Caribbean International, but I work for the Celebrity, which is a pretty good company actually. Honestly, to be, um I don't have too many bad things to say about Celebrity because the life is good, the food is good, people are nice, workers are nice, I mean, and even the guests are a little bit more expensive guests at that time, so you have a nice environment where you can work and where you can balance, let's say, the work with your personal life. So yeah, but I'm gonna talk about this more further. So how all this started, it was, as I said, in September when I sent my CV to Miami, and then I had two interviews with some head of department from Miami. I think, I'm not really sure. It was, but that time it was the head of the department for housekeeping and some senior recruiter or something. So after I had the two interview in a Skype and I passed it, I had to do another online test. It was more about like mathematics, like English, grammatically, and some kind of logically game, let's say, or stuff like that. Which it took me like almost 2 hours to pass it. It was like a 5 separate exam in this big exam, and I passed all that as well. And the next step was to do the medical. So before you go on board, you are doing a medical test, which is required by the company. They're gonna provide you a hospital where you can go and do it. You cannot just do it wherever you want. You have to follow their procedures, and you have to go to see that specifically hospital. Doesn't matter which one, because in your country it will have a lot of them. So you just need to choose the closest one that is from your home without any kind of problem. The price should be the same. I don't know what is the price for your country, but I know I'm from Romania, and for Romania the price was around 300 euro, more or less. This is like $370, let's say, and you don't get back this money. The only money you are getting back is the money from the visa. So please, whenever you are doing your visa, keep the receipt and everything, and you can do it on Camex by yourself. Camex is in your app for your company that you're gonna go to work. You're gonna have an app, and you can do it by yourself. You put there the receipt and everything, and they're gonna give you back the money. But you have to be on board when you do this. Yeah. So after you do the medical and you do all your all the things that you have to do, they're gonna give you LOE. It's a letter of employment, and the flight ticket that depends on the position you are going. Uh, you have to pay for, let's say, the company is paying for you to go on board, you pay for your way back. You know what I mean? And you have to pay with your cash. But mostly you have to pay your way. Like when you go on board, you have to pay your ticket. The company will pay your ticket to come back. But meantime, while you are on your contract, you're gonna have to pay your flight again to come back. So basically, on the beginning, you're gonna have to pay most likely 2 flights on your first contract, the one you are already there and the next one. But then you're gonna get used to it if you like to continue to do this job, and if you continue to go back for the same company or whatever. Now the contracts doesn't say that you're gonna have to go back on the same ship. Some situations you're gonna go back. It all depends on the rotation. Yeah. So the moment you pass all the exams and you are ready to go on board, this is the moment when everything gets start getting through. Because when you are home and you apply for it, doesn't really feel like, I mean, you are happy because you have your interviews, and you are happy because it's a special feeling because you made it, like you passed the interviews and you pass your medical stuff whatsoever, and then you have your flight tickets and your letter of employment in your hand, and you are like, oh man, this is for real, this is gonna happen now, and I'm so ready to go. So when you go, most likely, if you're gonna embark from United States, so most of the ships they do embarkation from Miami, from Fort Lauderdale, New York, Seattle, ports like that. So you're gonna arrive there a day before, so you're gonna have a night to rest. Mm. Most of us they did not sleep on the first night, not because we go out to party or stuff like that. It's just because we are more likely like nervous or very enthusiastic, because it's something new. You are in a new country. This is your first time when you get somewhere, and you are like, wow, you are very nervous because you don't know what to expect. So the moment you get on board, basically the ship it's so big that if you didn't saw a ship before, you have no idea how big it could be, because when I went on board first time, I was like, man, this is not possible. Like the ship was 360-meter long, with 70-meter tall and 47-meter wide. I never saw something like this in my life, so I could not prepare myself for this. Actually, there is the biggest corridor. It's a hallway. It's called I-95. It's made for crew, and it's the longest one because it's on deck 1 or deck 2, depends what is the deck for the crew. And it's the longest corridor where you go from the galley to the forward of the ship. So most of the offices are there, HR, medical, the gangways, everything is there. So what I used to do is I used to put small notes, to get to the office and then to get to my room, and then how to get to the crew mess, how to go to the gym or stuff like that. So the ship is very big. And the biggest problem with all of this is that you arrive, like from my country to United States, like 9 hours difference. So when you arrive there, you already are like a little bit fucked up because 9 hours. You talk to your family. Oh my God, I made it. I'm here. What to expect? How it's gonna be? It's not really easy. And then you step on board, and everybody's trying to push you from left to the right. Okay, you need to go there to do the C-Pass. The C-Pass is like your personal card that you're gonna use it to open your room, to pay your drinks, to go in and out of the ship. Basically, that's your ID. So you need to go to make the photo for the ID, and then you have a lot of trainings on the beginning. Your first 2 weeks will be full of trainings, basically, combined with working and combined with knowing the ship, knowing your colleagues, getting to know yourself and what you're gonna have to do and where you are, and basically all the enthusiastic stuff is gonna start. Uh, it will become like more or less a tiredness because you're gonna be very tired after a while, especially in the beginning. Mentally, you're gonna be a little bit down because you have a lot of stress and you have a lot of things going on. The first day you arrive, you have your safety training. So you arrive on board, let's say 9 o'clock in the morning, yeah? From 9 o'clock, people are gonna start pushing you to show them your medical because you have all your medical records so you can get on board. And then you're gonna have to go for your safety training. First safety training where they're gonna talk about your master stations, what is your duty in case of emergency, and stuff like that. And then you're gonna have to do your medical training. You're gonna have to do your elemental training where they're gonna let you know about the Save the Waves program or whatever they're gonna call it. It's basically a program where people are we have to recycle everything to keep the ocean free, and then you have gray water, black water, the water that it's going from the showers, from the drains, the garbage, and segregation of the garbage, everything, and how it's done. And you have a training for every single thing. You have a training. You're gonna have training for how to behave, because there are a lot of nationalities on board, and like the ship itself, they're gonna give you a lot of trainings, and on the same time you're gonna have to work. So the working schedule on board, it's a little bit different than what you're used to work home, because you have to work 10 hours per day. Basically, it's not more than 14 hours. In a regular day, you cannot work more than 14 hours, and the break should be divided 9 and 1, 9 hours to work, 1 hour break. Your break should be 9 hour, full 9 hour with 1 hour, at least. So it must be splitted, but mostly because you are not allowed to do overtime, because the company doesn't want to pay the overtime. You're gonna work 10 hours per day. So these 10 hours will start, let's say, from 7 in the morning, okay, until 1 o'clock. So this is 6 hours, and then in the night you're gonna work from 5 to 9 or stuff like that, you know. It all depends on the position where you work. For the bar, they are different because during the day there are not so many guests on board, so most of you are gonna have some kind of time off. You're gonna work in the morning before the guests are going out, and then you're gonna have 3, 4, 5 hours break, and then you're gonna work again until midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. It all depends on the bar. And then on the next day, you're not gonna start at 7, but you're gonna start, for instance, from 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock, and then from 7 o'clock until 1 o'clock.